I have two actually in regards to what Jerome said. I went with Brady on a tour, a safety tour, and very impressed with how both plants are run and Brady's knowledge, so just wanted to let you know.
Oh, thank you, yeah,
Very.
that was, and everybody get a chance to go too, Kathy got to go, but, yeah,
I had no idea, so was a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
Just how well ran it is.
We'd like to invite all the counselors to go, maybe early in the summer. We'll set a time where everybody's schedule works, and we'll go around on a tour of the plants, and where the operators are here, and everybody's around at the time we do this. It's hard to get everybody's schedule on board, but, and we can do different times.
Well worth
But
the time.
it's very, it's, yeah, because you folks are making decisions, and it makes the guys feel good about the decision makers being.
Exactly. My other half, and I don't know if this has to do with that. First of all, I think we're all visual, and as we're rolling into town, and if it looks really cute and inviting, you want to stop and shop. So I don't know if there's something about, small business loans to upgrade it, and maybe to start, now with having some different, which is
Yes.
probably another thing, but some different code enforcements. If you do come into town, we're gonna have a new standard of what's gonna be built and how the building's gonna look. That's a whole other thing.
It's a whole other topic.
It
and
brings
it's
in the
great-
urban renewal.
The urban renewal
Yeah.
question, which we're gonna be discussing next week.
Okay,
Yeah, next week.
Steve, I wanted to chime in for you, because standard enhancement, deployment of the infrastructure for the wireless communications are big items. And I think that's something that I believe that we should have in our bag for Washington.
absolutely.
I think you're right.
I think so, and then I also, I had a really great conversation with somebody the other day, and I don't know if this is true or not, it probably isn't, but it made for a great conversation. This person said to me that, there's so many eagles over there, they've ate all the black cormorants on the rock, why can't we have fireworks now? And I wouldn't have thought much about it, except when we had a conversation with a guy named Fred Boolsman, I think I pronounced his name pretty close. And he said, don't go to DC just the idea of grabbing money. If there's some regulatory issues that are affecting commerce in your town, talk to them about it. And I think it's a real stretch, a reach, the whole 9 yards, because we're talking about a treaty, but, why not? If we're gonna go do this thing, let's go talk about the eagles that ate the cormorants.
I think.
I know it sounds silly, I know.
No.
Council President, it should be interesting to know that any discussion regarding the shutdown of the fireworks has to begin with the fact that, as far as I know, and I might have a lack of some information, that the chamber never submitted a formal application for the fireworks. Okay, they were scared off by verbal warnings that we were scaring off, and if you file that application, we're not going to approve it. But the fact remains, and I told the chamber at the time, several years ago, they should just file that application anyway, because then they're on record. I would have predicted at that point with, I think Kitzhaber's first year or second year, that he would not have gone on record on allowing that to be turned down. I could be wrong. But it should be part of the discussion that we never actually filed that application and have yet to file an application for fireworks.
I think, I don't know, Beatrice, you can comment on that when you come up or not.
I was not on the.
I remember something about that. I do remember something about that.
Good answer. It might be interesting, at least for next year. I mean, I think it's worth mentioning in Washington. But the history that we never actually, because there's not going to be any record that the Fish and Game or U.S. Fish and Wildlife turned us down for anything, because they didn't.
Do you have to do it a year in advance?
We know that for
Well,
sure.
they applied on
I
it.
said,
I think they applied 6 months before, because that's about the time they booked the Peroni brothers or whoever it is that's doing the fireworks.
It doesn't work raising your hand at this place. I've done it several times.
What's your turn now?
Forget it.
Please.
No,
Speak.
no.
Okay.
I usually always raise my hand. So,
Okay,
it works for me.
let me tell you what happened with, just briefly, we'll be back. tell you what happened with the Governor Kitson before he resigned. I was in touch with his office and directly in touch with his office. And his right-hand man finally, after it was all said and done, and came back to me and reported that it was the Oregon Parks that actually stopped the permit for the fireworks because of that treaty thing that you're talking about. That comes all the way back to 1895 or something.
I don't know anything about
It's an overflight treaty.
It goes the entire western coast.
It's a very subjective line, Jerome, and it juts in some places on the coast and it juts out in other places. For instance, this treaty is ratified by 47 different nations, I remember that part. And it has to do with the black cormorant and its protection, even though it's an invasive species here. But here's a very not objective way to handle it. In Walport, the fishing game use shotguns or loud cannons or something to scare them away. And actually, some are authorized to euthanize the animals. Here in Depoe Bay, you couldn't even shoot off a firework because the flight path comes over that rock right in front of, what's that called, World Mark here.
The food rock.
That's right, but in Walport, it doesn't extend into that estuary. And so it's a very subjective ruling by somebody who designed the treaty many, many moons ago.
Again, it still would be interesting to
I
actually put
agree
in
with
the application, but
Yeah.
I think it has to go in by January,
Okay.
to answer to Robert's
Why
question.
do we do that? We really could do that. There's no reason not to.
Robert, did you want to chime in?
No.
Joe?
I would just like to ask or suggest a possible agenda item for this Washington trip.
Yes.
Lincoln County, and, you know, this is via my boyfriend who met the mayor of Lincoln City. Affordability of housing is difficult, especially for people who are not on the affluent end of things. Here in Depoe Bay, for instance, there is a lack of rental housing available for people who live and work in the downtown area and other places as well. And although I'm sure wages are as generous as they possibly can be at this point in the recovery of the economy, my real big concern is gentrification, especially in Depoe Bay, and that we are squeezing out potentially the people who live and work in downtown and live and work around the harbor. And we're courting, large resorts and high-end, upper-end housing at the expense of the people who actually live here and live here all year round and have for generations in some cases. And life is becoming more and more difficult for those of us who are, doing our best to try and support the mission of that is Depoe Bay. And, I can mainly speak from my own experience in that, I live in a very nice place and a fairly small lot in an older home. Now that we're starting to experience a little more affluence in our lives, Tony and myself, we're looking to move into a larger place. And quite frankly, and with the restrictions that of course that I have to stay within Depoe Bay for the duration of my term. And at this point, I have to tell you that, looking and projecting to possibly a year in the future, there's nothing available. For two people who are working on a full-time income at above minimum wage, and there's nothing available in Depoe Bay right now. That's really a concern to me, because if on two incomes and working above minimum wage, and there's nothing available for the two of us, I can only imagine what kind of a struggle a family is going through trying to keep a roof over their house, or even considering moving here from, I have a friend in Portland, for instance, whose son has chronic asthma. He just got out of ICU. And living in Portland and with the pollution and the dust and the traffic and all of that, it's devastating to her family. She's a single mother of two. She wants badly to move here to Depoe Bay because it's going to benefit her son's health. But on a single income for a mother who is just graduating from college, there's nothing available. And that's a real concern to me. So I'd like to see there's something about, supporting housing, and not just houses for sale to middle to lower income people, but houses for rent as well.
Actually, I was reading a bill that's coursing through the state of Oregon's legislature, and it's dealing with affordable housing. And and it's early in its staging, but it sounds like they're going to try to make an exception in the property tax code for those that provide for housing for low-income people, and they would allow them to take a buy or a reduced tax payment from them for that property. In other words, if you rent to somebody who is below the federal poverty line, you're not going to have to pay XYZ number of dollars in property taxes. The state of Oregon is working on that particular issue, but for you, the affordable housing issue goes back to a HUD request. That's HUD for sure. So, guys, I have 11 items here. Can I read them off to you?
Yep.
And if these are good enough, then we'll ask the staff to print this list and then we'll prioritize it. The next meeting to get going on it. And these are in no particular order of importance. One is to upgrade the wastewater plant. 2 is work on the failing transmission lines for the sewer and the potable water. 3 is the reservoir dam, if there needs to be engineering, although we won't know that for a while, but also dredging of that reservoir.
Right.
And then we also have dredging behind the check dam in the harbor. There's parking development, which is a big issue. Economic development, the harbor project, which has multiple heads, I just didn't list them out yet. Salmon enhancement, deployment of networks on the technology, thank you, on the, what about the lines? The fiber optic lines, excuse me, I'm sorry. And talk about the repeal of the overflight treaty and then affordable housing. Or anything else? That's all we need. Somebody pass that to Curry, please. Curry, maybe you can just take that and refine it as you always do, and we'll bring that up at the next meeting, and I hope to prioritize that list next meeting and break out, if that works. Yeah.
Number 6, economic development, I guess there could be several subheadings on
I think
that,
so.
like, some job development.
I was, kind of what I was thinking is we can go ahead, have Perry work the list, we'll prioritize the list, and I was thinking that on some of the issues that we're passionate about, each one of us could put a little extra time in to research with Larry Lewis, for one, because he's gonna help us identify where. And then just if we need to have some breakout sessions, like Jerome talked about the stakeholders downtown for the parking, just like we did in the harbor. I mean, we got some very valuable information that way. We can do the same for the parking and some of these other
Exactly, you could
issues.
facilitate a workshop.
That's, exactly, so, I'd like to prioritize those, and then I'd like to, discuss them a little bit more, and then break them out, so we can get going on this. So that's really all I needed to talk about today, sir. Thank you all.
There's one thing, Joe, that, and I realize the plight of the people that service our town. Fortunately, only 12 miles away in Newport, there are places where most of these people live, as well as north of us in Lincoln City, that come here to work and service our town. And I realize it's not their fault that they're not economically in the driver's seat as far as purchasing housing for themselves, but that's the way it is at this moment. And so anyway, I wanted to let you know that part of it, if it helps any. I mean, my heart goes out to them, and without them, our city wouldn't run. We have a lot of people that do not live here, but they don't live too far away, and at least they've got a place to come to and they get jobs. All right, thank you. Moving along here to new business. Depoe Bay Chamber of Commerce annual report and request. I bet you.
It's a big one. And Jerome thought we were moving along so quickly. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Mayor, members of the City Council, my name is Beatrice Ray, and I'm here to represent the Chamber of Commerce. First of all, with the fireworks, we would love it if we would get fireworks back. We discuss it all the time. If there was a way that we could get fireworks back in town, we would have fireworks back in town. So I wasn't part of the chamber when it happens, but I know it has to do with that International Island Treaty, and it's that one. So we could think of a way to make that rock an island. So anyways, every year we renew a contract with the city, and it is part of the advertising that we do for the city. Okay. So what I did is I gave you guys the packets. Inside the packets, we did a breakdown of invoicing that the chamber has paid out within the last year of the contract dates. And we have it pretty much broken down as far as what each invoice was for, as far as how it applied to advertising. So we have things like advertising as far as the salmon bake, and we do the, so I mean, that's purchasing of signs like this that we put in windows, storefronts, tourist areas, hotels, restaurants, and that goes all the way from Lincoln City all the way down to Newport. We even put signs down in the Walport area, yachts, so we don't just have it up in this area. We try to get the signs out as far as we can. So we do that for the salmon bake and for the crab feed. Now, we have a really great person right now who's helping us with our PR. He has gotten us advertising in a lot of prints. Like he got us a salmon bake. We got a little article with a picture of the salmon bake put in the Sunset magazine last year. We've had mention in VIA, which is the AAA magazine, and those are usually costly to have ads put in, and we've gotten those ads for nothing. Just by putting out the press releases and putting out information to these prints, occasionally they will pick up on events and they will advertise that. So we have had some advertising done that hasn't cost us, and then of course we always have others that we do have to pay for. But we do as much as we can. We're trying our hardest to keep costs down as much as possible. So we also have this year we had to reprint all the brochures. When we did the brochures, we kept the cover design. That was something that we debated because it's the same as the old cover, but it was so iconic. The bridge, the boats, it's so iconic. We had a couple of other designs that we looked at, but we thought this one was just more fitting. It draws your attention. So we redid the insides so that it was more current, because there was some information that we needed to redo, and then of course all of the businesses are correctly listed. We went through and corrected everybody's information, contact information, websites, and everything is all been up to date, corrected. Okay, so the new brochures are out. And I also put in there for you some counts for you. And what we do is we keep track of how many people come into the office, how many phone calls we get, emails, and stuff like that. So that's what that's count. And then we also have, the furthest list is the webpage. That's hits per month that we've gotten on our webpage. Now we do have also, we get an email from Oregon's People Coast, and they send out a list every week that they give in, and it's people that are inquiring with the Oregon Coast Partners to have information sent based on, the area. So they send out this spreadsheet to us, to all the chambers. And like this week, last week, there was 177 listed on the database. So every one of those people, we have correspondence with them. In the past, they used to mail them a brochure. Now what we're doing to try to help keep costs down, and the fact that so many people now use their cell phones, we're actually emailing them a brochure. We had a copy made of our brochure, and so you can see the brochure on your computer. So, and then we've had a lot of responses back, you know, where people wanted extra information, because we also sent them a greeting email and some suggestions for different things in town. And we've gotten quite a few back in reference stating, you know, that they would want more information, and so we've communicated back and forth and made phone calls back and forth to some of these people. So we are seeing a response back from the emails. So that's gonna help keep our postage costs down, because that's a lot of brochures and a lot of postage that we were sending out, and now we're gonna be cutting that cost a little bit, so that'll make it a little bit more cost effective. Okay, because last year our postage, but now that also includes mailing out the brochures, because we mail large quantities of brochures to all the other chambers, travel centers, anybody who calls and says, you know, we need to get 50 or 100 brochures sent. So that's also included in our costs. So, and last year, we spent a little over $2,000 in stamps and postage for sending out brochures, whether packages to people or mailing. So some of that will be cut down by doing the emails that we'll be doing this year. So these are just, these books, other books in here are just examples of some of the advertising that we do have. That this one is advertising the crab feed and the salmon bake. We print out tide charts, which we encourage people when they come in, if they're not familiar with the tides, to take a tide chart. That has our list of events in that. And then there's the mile by mile guide in there, that if you're not familiar with the mile by mile, it breaks down the Oregon coast from all the way down from Astoria all the way down to Kent Beach. And we have an ad in there, plus it has a long article that talks about the different spots along the Depoe Bay coast area. So as far as things to see, like Whale Cove and the bridge and the Whale Box Center, it breaks it down. So we're doing a lot of advertising, and like I said, we're in a lot of different publications. This is the events calendar that the Visitors Bank puts out. We have our events listed in there also. We're in the Coast Explorer. We have our crab feed and salmon bake listed in there. The beer growlers this year, when they heard that we were looking for, we talked to them, Kurt Schumacher, about when we were looking for a vendor for the crab feed. And he suggested Rusty Trucker Row. And so he asked us how, you know, and then he was glad to hear that Rusty Truck was doing it. So he put it in his events that we were having the crab feed. And we actually, whenever I worked the office, I would ask people when they asked, when they call, you know, I said, oh, so where did you hear about it? And that's kind of interesting, you know, because two of them actually had heard about it in Beer Growler. And they were calling to get more information about the crab feed. So it's kind of interesting. People are seeing the signs in town. People are seeing it in different publications. One lady saw it she was just in her doctor's office in Walport, and the doctor had a sign in there. You know, so I mean, we're getting the word out about it. So we're getting a lot of inquiries and stuff. So do you guys have any questions?
I have one question.
Okay.
You've included in this packet an excerpt, it's photocopy,
Mm-hmm.
from the scuttlebutt. The chamber does not produce the scuttlebutt, though, correct?
Well, we do, it is a, actually, we pay $900. It's a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
To
so
advertise
we put
it.
that up. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
it is something.
So it is, this will work as publication.
Yeah, this is, I just didn't have 9, some of these at the office, I only have 4.
Okay,
So-
thank you.
So that's why I made the copy, because it is the Depoe Bay, and then the other one that showed the events that it was highlighting.
Thank you.
Yeah, Catholic First Ladies first.
Kathy, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I've just noticed, Beatrice, that your phone calls have gone down versus in months prior, and your emails, I know it may be the time of year. One question I might have for you is, where are you targeting your advertising? Out of state, Portland, Seattle, to get people to come through, Lincoln City?
We're targeting everywhere. We also advertise through Travel Oregon. Travel Oregon, takes brochures, so they put them in the airport and all over the travel centers. All of the travel information centers all get our brochures. Plus Travel Oregon, that's why I brought my phone here. They actually have,
That's what I'm gonna ask, if it's linked to.
yeah, you can go on Travel Oregon and you can put in Depoe Bay and it will bring up the annual Salmon Day.
Yep.
Is our next event. Now, it did have, the crab feed, but since the crab feed is passed, now they're advertising our 60th annual Salmon Day right on people's phones. So we target people. We get people, all those requests that we get from the People's Coast, they come from all over the country.
Right.
Like, we've been in contact this last week with a lady from Florida. And I mean, like 3 or 4 phone calls later, and I mean, we're helping her plan her trip.
Nice.
Take a call.
Yeah.
And we're giving her suggestions for restaurants and hotels, and, you know, we were helping her, you know, plan her whole trip. So, you know, we are targeting all over, everywhere. We get people in our, I could have brought the book with me that people sign when they come in the office. I mean, we get them from all over the country.
I mean, you should,
Besides the
because-
world. We get them from Germany and all over the world, so, yeah.
And the other question I had, it just slipped my mind, so let me think.
Okay.
Oh my God. Oh, when people call up, are you only referring, like, let's say they call up, they go, where's a really good place to eat? Are you referring people to members only, or your personal preference?
We don't do personal preferences.
Okay,
When somebody calls, if somebody calls and wants to know about fishing, I say I will give you them in alphabetical order,
okay,
and that is dockside, trade winds. If they're looking for whale watching, dockside, trail winds, and then the whale watch, the whale eco.
okay, so are they members, or are both of them members?
All 3 of them
Okay.
actually are members. With the restaurants, I'd say, most of them are members. Yeah, but if somebody calls and says, do you have a restaurant that serves this kind of food? And they're not a member, I would still say, yes, we have a restaurant that serves that kind of food. I would not say, oh, no, we don't.
Oh, I understand. I'm just wondering
No.
if that's, if you had a list
No.
of your chamber members, and that's how you sent them.
No, we do have a list, but if somebody's calling and asking, it's not gonna do the city any service to not, you know, I
Exactly.
mean.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
And I don't tell them, yes, they're a chamber member, no, they're not. I just say, okay, these are the people who offer this service, these are the people who offer this service.
Steve?
And B, you folks are doing a real good job on your advertising, and we really appreciate that. But there's a couple questions I have about the fiduciary responsibility of the chamber. You are structured as a nonprofit business enterprise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a balance sheet? Do you show, do you have an earned income from your membership, right?
We
Do
have
you-
income from our membership, yes.
Can
and
you
then we
show, do you
also-
have a financial
Yeah, we have a
summary?
treasurer, yeah,
Could
we
you-
have a treasurer.
Do you have
I
one?
don't have that information
Oh,
here.
is that, we've been doing a lot of budgets and so on around here, but it would be nice to see the costs.
Mhm.
But if we could see the earned income and your balance sheet and all the financial stuff that we usually work with around
Right.
here at this time of the year, it would be really helpful. Is that something that you can do?
Well, we do have,
I mean, can-
I can tell you right now, like the crab feed, we took in a little over 23,000 gross.
Mhm.
By the time we got done paying all of our expenses, because, you know, crab was so expensive this year, we made, about 7,600.
So that was your,
Yeah.
okay.
I know, I was saying, that's a nice turn on your money.
Well, like I said,
You said, how much did you say?
No, 76.
7,600.
yeah,
Was
7,600.
Yeah, that's nice
Yeah.
turn, 30%.
Considering the price of the crab, yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice turn.
Yeah, because we paid 3,000 more this year than we did last year for the crab. And we only raised the price $5.
However, I will say, let's see, what was the gross?
It was a little over 23,000.
Okay, and what was the net?
It was around 7,600.
I still have.
You still have part of it, you
I
still
still
have a
have
compound
part.
question.
My questions are purely business related. You have the earned income component. Do you have any other revenue?
Well, the salmon bake.
The salmon bake is a revenue component. Do you have
The salmon
grants? You get grants, is that some revenue? Do you see a strategic plan anywhere in the future that's going to put the chamber in a more of a earned income, revenue generating, cost recovery mode? Do you have an accounting firm that looks
No.
out? You don't have an accounting
Well,
firm?
we have a tax lawyer.
Do you have a business plan?
You'd have to talk to the.
So you don't have a business plan. Are we a member of the National Chamber of Commerce?
We're part of the chamber, yeah.
The National Chamber? Okay. Well, I ask these questions because it's a nonprofit business enterprise and we're showing costs and we're showing investment. And I really think the chamber, like every other nonprofit, should have a fiduciary responsibility with good financial information for us to review. That's where I come from. A strong financial position is what I think that we need to see. So if anybody wants to discuss that, that's fine. I want to see financials.
Maybe, Steve, just, we got two people. Joe, you were first and then Jerome was next, right?
I just, no comment except for, the 33%
It's good.
net profit is pretty good. you
Yeah,
know.
I'd say it's really good.
But, a huge component of that is
The
the
labor that's.
the labor that's donated, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
It's
that's
a
also
lot-
in
it's a
time.
lot of work.
I
Yeah,
would
it's a
also
lot of
say,
It's a lot of work.
that, maybe, a business plan starts out with a mission statement. So I think that you have a mission statement.
Get Joe, you're next.
I was just wondering if, like some of the other communities, I have Go Yalhats on my Facebook page. I have Waldport on my Facebook page. Is the Depoe Bay Chamber taking advantage of social media?
We have Facebook page.
Okay,
Yes,
is that maintained on a regular basis?
The person who was maintaining it, left the board, so I don't know if it's being maintained right now. I know, one of the persons was going to, one of the other people was going to look at it, so I don't know. I really can't.
Okay, I think it's
I know
important.
we have the Eclipse, also we have the Eclipse, so
Right.
they have their own separate website, and that is being maintained on a daily basis.
Okay. I just don't, I want to emphasize the importance of, I see people day in, day out, they've got the face in their smartphone. And they're, most people consider that as their auxiliary brain. I know I do. And I'm not alone in that. I don't memorize phone numbers anymore because I don't need to. It's on my phone. But a lot of people are using their smartphones or using their social media. And I think that that's something, I found that for my own personal page, I get a very good response from people, not just people that I know personally, but people all across the country that I've friended. If I maintain it daily, if I'm keeping it active, keeping it interesting. And I have to say that, especially coming into, the prettiest time of year, part one, that it probably would be a good idea if we had somebody posting at least, a couple of photographs, on if not a daily basis, at least a weekly basis, and letting people know, hey, this is what you're missing because you're not here,
I agree.
and you should be.
Councilor Gambino?
Mr. Mayor, would like to move that we renew the agreement with the Depoe Bay Chamber of Commerce to the tune of $4,999.99.
I'll second that. And, but I'd like to ask a caveat on that, Robert, if you consider it, and then I'd like a discussion still. The caveat would be that prior to the chamber receiving their check this year, that they provide the city a P&L and a balance sheet
Absolutely.
prior to. Is
Absolutely.
that okay?
Can I add to that?
Yeah, please.
When was the last time the chamber, as a nonprofit, when was the last time you had an audit?
I don't know,
Okay, so-
I don't know
so-
any big treasurer
Well,
responsibilities.
the key, the important thing here is that we all have fiduciary responsibility, all right? You have a board.
Okay.
And we have to follow the laws connected with the 501c4.
Okay.
And all the fiduciary responsibilities and the accounting and all that stuff
Okay.
needs to have the i's dotted and the t's crossed. I worry that we're at some risk here without knowing exactly what the financial condition of the chamber is, and I know that other nonprofits have to have audits every year, and we need to make sure that we have those best practices in place. Since we're doing business together, we have to do it here, and other nonprofits have to do it, and I think it's very critical that we have this conversation, not maybe all of it this evening, but we really need to have a conversation about the fiduciary responsibility.
Steve, isn't there you're talking about the audit, so we know that the numbers are accurate, which is a business practice. But isn't
That's a law, they have to
I
have an
understand
audit.
it, but I think there's an exception to that by the size of the nonprofit.
Yeah, if you're a nonprofit that's generating revenues less than, let's say $5,000 a year, you don't have to do anything.
Only
But-
5,000?
Yeah, if you're over $5,000 a year and you have earned income, and you're conducting the kind of business that we're conducting here, you have to have good books. Otherwise, if someone walks in the door and does an on-spot audit, which has happened to us at Neighbors for Kids, then we have some issues to overcome. So I believe in running it like a business enterprise, and I think that the conversation is important.
Robert, go ahead. I simply have a comment, and that is that I feel that this council, for some reason, is automatically assuming that that's not the case, simply because the paperwork isn't here. This person giving this presentation is not in charge of the treasury of the Chamber of Commerce, and she's already answered that she doesn't have that information. It doesn't mean that it's not available and that it's not been done, and I think we're assuming that it has.
I didn't suggest that. I didn't suggest that.
Okay.
I'm suggesting that we need to be,
Okay, wait a minute.
okay,
Okay.
so that's all.
That's a
Okay.
vote.
Now, we already have the motion, and she has
Point of
agreed.
order,
She has, pardon me?
a point of order before you finish, but a point of order.
Right, okay. They've already agreed to give us an accounting, and so we need to call the question.
Mr. Mayor, Mr.
Yes.
President, could you do a reading of the motion?
That's where I was going with
And
this.
you said P&L, I would, as part of that, I think it wouldn't be too much to provide a balance sheet.
Yeah, no, I agree. Robert, would you accept those amendments?
You said balance, you said P&L.
No, but you made the motion and I seconded it. I asked you to accept.
Oh, yes,
the amendment.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and I said yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barry, could you read the motion, please?
Okay, what I have is move that we renew the agreement with the Chamber of Commerce in the amount of $4,999. And then, Olson seconded with the caveat, notes are kinda sketchy. My notes are, no dollars reimbursed until financial information is.
Yeah, P&L
I
and
didn't
balance sheet.
get that one, but-
Yeah, that's all. So just send us the P&L and balance sheet, then we cut you the check and you get it, right? Yeah. Now, I have a question though, since this is conversation part of this. Let me ask you this, I know your fellow, well, you're on the board, right, Pete? You're secretary. I have a question to ask your board of directors, and it's a hypothetical question, and don't read more into it than just what it is, okay?
I'll try.
Because I'm behind you guys get your money. What if I were to tell you, and again, this is hypothetical, what if I were to tell you we could find you guys a location that will triple your foot traffic, enlarge your expansion and your advertising dollar to the city, perhaps get a fiber optic line dropped into it and not pay rent? Would the chamber be interested? Is that something the chamber will discuss and get back to
We
us?
will discuss that.
And can we schedule a time for you to come back and talk to us about this?
Sure. I'm open to anything to save money.
Yeah, well, it's to save money and also to
Earn.
earn a lot more money, and also, not that you're not doing a good job, I'm not saying that, to enhance your position to be the ultimate advertising arm of this city, the preeminent advertising arm, and I think we have an opportunity to help the chamber if they'd be willing to accept. So it's just a question to take back, and I know it's a sensitive question because we're talking the monies of the chamber and how it operates, its tradition, its steep, I understand all that. But it's a way for possibly the chamber to move into the 21st century with the city, as we're about to discuss on this next topic here, that's all.
But now, one thing,
Yeah.
the thing is just of that is the fact that you do realize that we are a total 100% volunteer.
No, I get it absolutely in spades, I do, and I,
And right now, it's very difficult with, because you know volunteers,
yeah.
it's not always possible to always have
I
all
get
the
it.
volunteer staff that you need.
I get it, and if we can provide help on that topic, would that alleviate that fear?
Yeah, because right now, you know, because with Carol retiring, you know, we've had a couple of times, you know, with the office where, you know, we've had difficulties getting
Yes.
staffing for the office. And so that's been a main concern for us
Mhm.
is, you know, keeping the office
Yeah.
staffed. And you said something about, you know, the phone calls seem to have dropped.
Mhm.
Well, we are accounting things probably a little bit more differently than when Carol was there. Okay, because when Carol was there, the office is open 11 to 3. Okay, when Carol was there, sometimes she opened the office at 8 in the morning. So she was there for more hours. Plus, she was making more phone calls.
Right.
Okay, so, and she was accounting for every phone call. You know, so we don't do that. I mean, if I'm emailing somebody and I get 3 emails, I count it as 1. But, you know, she might have counted at 3. I don't know. We don't know how the accounting of the numbers were.
Right.
Okay, so what we have, we base those numbers off of is a sheet that we have in the office. And it's the volunteers, you know, they have to slash every phone call, every email, or every walk-in. So that's where we get these numbers from. So, whether or not, how true they are, you know, we hope that, you know, we try to make it as true as possible. But, you know, it's everybody's perception of, you know, an email. You know, if you email somebody 3 times on the same, you know, off of the same one, is that 3 emails or is that 1? You know, so.
Well, I'm always gonna
So
count
that
higher,
might,
so I
that
get
might
three.
be why some of the numbers have dropped. Our office hours have shortened a little bit,
Right.
you know, and also she was there on holidays, whereas we actually, one of the holidays, Easter, we weren't open. Okay. And then, of course, we had, during the crab feed, we didn't have the office open because we didn't have enough volunteers to man the crab feed and have somebody in the office. So we put a sign on the door, you know, unfortunately, we are all down to crab feed, come and join us,
Right.
you know, so.
So we can further this discussion later about how maybe we can offer some help. And the chamber would at least listen.
Yeah, we will listen,
Okay,
we
I
will
don't expect you to say
listen.
yes, but you'll listen.
Because I want the
We-
chamber to succeed.
We had a discussion earlier in the year about sustainability of our nonprofit business enterprises in town and had offered to potentially put on a workshop so that we could sort all this out and find new ways to be sustainable. I will suggest to you, B, that as a subject matter expert on nonprofits with many years of experience, the all-volunteer nonprofit business model is not sustainable in the 21st century. I know that for a fact, I can prove it. And we need to take a look at the chamber and any other nonprofit in town, and we need to become a sustainable business enterprise as a community. And I worry about the sustainability of the chamber and any other nonprofit. So that's my view on it. It's serious.
Those things can be brought up, but we'll schedule, after we take the vote, we'll schedule an agenda inviting the chamber to come discuss these things.
Yes,
So,
or a workshop.
Could you send me something written as
Absolutely.
far as what you
I'm not trying to be
stated?
mysterious, but it's
No,
9:15.
I know, we've got to figure.
And, you know, this is a decision for the entire chamber and also the city council. You know, I know that my relationship with the chamber over the years has not been exactly the most cordial, and I get that in spades. And I guess part of it was because I really wanted the chamber to perform very badly. The chamber is the advertising arm of the city. The city government provides for the sewer and water. Looking for you guys to provide the mouthpiece to tell the world how wonderful our toilets and water are here. And other items that we have, obviously. So I look forward to that conversation because I think there's a great opportunity for all, including in the chamber and every business owner and every single resident of this town. That just, and no offense, to just stick some adrenaline to get things jump started. So we'll talk. And thank you for that, at least taking it back to the board. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
okay, call the question first.
Grant?
I will say aye, but I will also, just in case there is any, I think I'm a member of the chamber still.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so there could be a potential conflict of interest, but I will vote aye. Okay, just to declare that.
Could I hear the question one more time, please?
We renew the agreement with the Chamber of Commerce,
Good point.
in the amount of $4,999. I'm gonna use the word amend instead of caveat, that, there would be no reimbursement until financial information is submitted to the city by the chamber.
Yes.
Sparks?
Yes.
Wyatt?
I'll do yes also, but I'm also a member of the chamber, so
Just declare that,
I'll declare that.
that's
Okay.
all the ethics means.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Olson?
yes.
Matlock?
Yes.
Gambino?
Yes.
And Gabriel's a member.
I'm a member, but I'm just a citizen member, so
That's
there
okay,
is no,
you're still a member.
there's no possible thought of it.
Well, Kathy's just
So I don't have to declare that.
Yeah, I'm just
a member.
I'm just a citizen member also.
Now, do we also have to do the asking for renewal on that hearing?
Well, the motion was to renew the agreement.
We're gonna renew it.
So
We're
it's
gonna renew it,
renewed.
okay.
This current agreement's reimbursement will not
Right.
occur until that information.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Good job, thank you for
Thank
everything
you.
you do.
Well, we're trying.
You're doing a good job.
I know you're trying, I know you guys are trying.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, no, well, here we are.
On to item B, municipal software proposals, recommendation to the board.
Yes, I would like to say, before I start reviewing this, that Emma took the lead on this entire project, and she did a super job.
Here, here.
Carla and Kathy spent a lot of time as well, reviewing the proposals, providing their input. So I'll proceed with this memo. February 13, we advertised for municipal software proposals using specific criteria in the RFP. Hardware costs were not requested initially. Emma has gathered information on what hardware we are looking at getting. So 5 proposals were received. The ACS is our current software company, and they were the low, and their annual maintenance was also the low. But there's a note down below that they do not meet one of our minimum requirements. We have our proposal, which is being able to interface with Microsoft Office. They did not respond to the second level of questions, so that was kind of the end of contact with our current company. The remaining four, you'll see there's quite a difference in cost, not only the initial cost, but the annual maintenance. A lot of review, contacts with references. We asked Councilors Olson and Sparks and Grant to take a look at these proposals and give us some input, and we really appreciate that, thank you. Our recommendation, taking all that, is that we ask the council to authorize proceeding with the Vision company to obtain the software, and of course with that, the annual maintenance costs are ongoing, as long as we use the software. I would note that the dollars you see on this page are maximum dollars. As we start talking with Vision or another company, because it's up to the council who we go with, we anticipate it might be quite likely that we would get more detail on the modules and maybe reduce the cost. So we're looking at these dollars as maximum. Emma did add a note toward the bottom. As far as hardware that we're gonna need, we're talking about a server and also 2 handheld meter reading devices. I call them digital meter books. And that will save a lot of time. So that's the hardware we're looking at. That would be another about $10,000 over those costs of the software you're looking at. So again, we're asking you if you would approve our recommendation to proceed with Vision as far as their software proposal.
Yes, you did a great job, both
Yes.
of you. And I had a long conversation with Emma on the phone, and it was very enjoyable talking to you about it. I thought I was back in my career. Thank you. The Vision choice, is there a cloud option for later?
Go ahead.
They do anticipate having a cloud version available maybe next year.
Okay. Okay, so most of these companies have a migration plan that considers the cloud technology, then I'm assuming.
Well, some of them do and some of them
Oh,
don't.
but Vision, you would say Vision does?
Vision does, yeah.
Okay, okay, that's important. The server that you're going to order, is that in your mind a robust server with all the growth potential for storage and other capabilities and all the connectivity requirements that we might need with respect to fiber optic transmission and so forth?
Telecommunications.
Telecommunications in general?
This server would be specifically dedicated to the software, so no.
Oh, no, so it's just.
So it's just, oh, I didn't know that, really.
Is it a hard drive? Is it just?
Yeah, it would be just like a standalone computer, but it's not going to be a computer that anybody would use. It would be configured, and it would be set up high on the shelf somewhere.
Okay.
And I would add that that's the server that we have in the cost, so,
If we wanted another server,
with
You're
those
up, Ron.
additional capabilities, I would assume it would cost more.
And,
Yes.
and isn't that server dedicated, I thought the server was dedicated to the meter reading software, isn't it?
Oh,
Oh, no, it's for everything?
It would be
Oh,
for
okay.
everything, yeah.
All right, thank you. You're
I
on.
have a working knowledge and this is journeyman's knowledge of how things should be configured, and it's very preferable to have a dedicated server for the platform. It increases security because that's basically the only thing you're using it for, and you're not exposing it to the outside network only for, say, upgrades in the software itself. And maybe I'm sure they have a trouble line that they can go in online on that server so that they can take control and see what's happening. That's as part of their support.
Yeah, they have an excellent support system.
They take over, they'll come in, you'll log them in, but, so it's
Remote
great.
maintenance.
Yeah, it's great to have, it's just, it's the way to configure the system. I guess for the 10,000, I'd want a premium grade processor, lots of storage space. Do you know what the processor is?
Well, the $10,000 is mostly for the handheld meters.
Yeah, I was wondering that, yeah.
The server's only 2, so it's
And it's,
really.
and the handheld is, it's got like a flash drive in it that you, or do you plug it in, into the server, or how does it read it? Is it by transmission over,
We don't have those details yet.
okay. So the
But it will be
configuration is fine.
compatible with the system.
I just one more thing with this, I didn't get a chance to look at, and I'm glad that Councilor Sparks had a chance to talk to them, that fills me with more confidence, but I looked on their website, I didn't get the chance to look at all of the paperwork, and it is developed with the .NET platform, which is a Microsoft product. It's been around for, probably about 14 or 15 years. It's what made basically a lot of commerce possible on the internet itself. So, and all of the professional houses, I mean, I met the software developers 12, 13 years ago that were, in my mind, geniuses. One invented the barcode system. He was developing on the .NET platform with C#, and that's what this program is done with. So I feel confident in that it's up to date.
So, did somebody else have their hand up? I'm sorry, Joe, go ahead.
I was just wondering, do you have an approximate timeline as far as when Vision is going to be offering cloud service? And is that included in their bid when that comes online, or is that going to be an additional fee?
I don't know if it would be additional fee.
It'll be,
I would-
they said they anticipate maybe in about a year, and we don't have any cost information on that, because it's not available yet.
Is that something that, that we would be taking advantage of if the service was offered?
I do not prefer the cloud. I personally prefer the in-house server. So, that's just me.
I'll back her up
I
on
can't
that.
answer your question. Okay.
Robert?
I think he goes first.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, good.
No, Robert, you go.
Well, I'd just like to make a motion that we accept this proposal recommendation by staff to go with Vision for the set amounts, and including the 10,000 for the handheld meters and dedicated software. I second that.
So discussion, so if we were to go that direction, since we're gonna vote on this, it's 55,000, plus 10 is 65,000, and plus 7,200 is, what is it, that's, no, I'm just going off the Vision's proposal.
Right, but down
So
here.
we got 72,000 total in the purchase to do this. That includes the yearly maintenance, the purchase of the software and the package, plus the handheld. That's 72,000.
Well, just to be clear, the first year, annual maintenance is included in the initial cost.
Okay, so we're at
So
65,000.
that annual maintenance would be the following year.
So we're basically at 65,000 in purchase, correct? Roughly. So, you know, another thing that I really liked about this, and I know Steve and I have talked about it, Curry and I have talked about it, we have $80,000 in the budget. And one thing the city desperately needs, along with modernizing the software, is modernizing the communication down here in City Hall. No more tape recorders, guys. It's time. And so I would ask that maybe you guys take some time and look into the different opportunities we have for telecommunication service. And this is not part of this motion, but we have some money. We should, since we're taking this is a leap into the 21st century for our town. This is great. And so let's do the same with the telecommunications. And if it only costs a couple $1,000 to get another server, we have money in the budget.
are we still in discussion?
We're still in discussion, it was just to
I
talk.
wanna reinforce, that was the reason for my original question about how robust. I wanted to have a clear picture of the server, have nothing against the decision, I agree with that. But I have to go with what Zeke is saying, is that we need to be, have a platform that's ready for the future. And the cloud piece of it is coming along, and eventually you're gonna like it, okay? Maybe not now, but eventually. But the telecommunications component
We gotta have.
is there should be a sense of urgency about that.
Yeah, we have talked about.
Yes, we have, just so, continuing the process. The other thing, you might wanna mention, it's gonna take almost a full year to migrate from one system to the other.
Well, the conversion will take a couple of months, you know, converting our data.
But you also said we're gonna be running the system
Implement.
side by side for a while.
Absolutely, the actual implementation of each and every module, a year.
Yeah, it's a pain in the backside.
I've been through several of those, and they're always a complex process.
The word glitch comes to mind, doesn't it?
A glut of glitches.
One question, I am computer illiterate, so, but this cloud, is that a guarantee that our information will remain safe?
There were questions about security. I asked questions like, have they ever had a data breach? Nobody had a data breach. And as far as Springbrook's cloud service, the information would be encrypted on our end and then transmitted, and it would live encrypted on their end. So that's a pretty safe system.
Mr. Mayor, just cloud simply means that the program itself, instead of residing on our own server, exists on a server or several servers somewhere in the world. That could be in anywhere from Bulgaria to Eastern Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that.
So, and I would say for, at least for the short term now, we've got some very high speed access here with CoastCom, I understand, and I'm still learning about that. But really, the processing speed for operations that the staff is going to be doing here in the office, even with as fast as you can imagine that CoastCom's backbone is, that the server itself inside the network here is going to be up to at least 100 times faster or more, at least right now. So
I get it.
I would support this vision that we've got going. One of the advantages in the cloud is that any update to the program or anything, they can make adjustments right there. That's an advantage with that, as opposed to having to download it and integrate it into the system that we have. But if for some reason we have the data goes down, we lose communications, but we still have electricity, they lose the ability to process. If it's cloud, yeah.
One thing I do understand about that cloud business is that they're located in cooler parts of the globe because of the enormous consumption of electricity. So they have to keep the whole system cooled down. Kind of like Memphis doing.
Server farm.
They cool themselves down a little bit.
That doesn't work.
That works, I'm sure. it's gonna
Works
work.
for you, but that doesn't work in a computer.
It's called a question.
All right, do we have any more discussion? Call, please.
Fisher Brown,
Yes.
Spark,
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yep.
Olson,
Hallelujah.
Matheline,
Yes.
Gambino,
Yes.
Grant,
Aye.
thank you.
What a
We
great
may be
turnout.
calling on you for some expertise as we enter into fine tuning what we're gonna end up doing.
That is one question with this outfit, Steve. Is there you think there's an opportunity to maneuver on the backside on that maintenance?
Well, if you want to, you're going to go into negotiations, right?
We will negotiate for a contract.
Okay. Well, I think that from my own experience, they probably have some room in it. And however you put your negotiation strategy together, I would make a safe assumption that you can negotiate a little bit better on that price. price, both for the life cycle costs, as well as the hardware and software. That's just my experience.
How much room do we have on the backside, do you think?
Well, usually they have,
10%.
10, 15% that they fiddle with and assume, that they might have to go with, so you've got some leverage there for you and Emma. Unless I'm too old and I've forgotten, maybe it's changed. I've been away from my career for a while, but I don't think it's changed.
I don't think so.
And also system redundancy and backup, is that, I'm thinking their software includes the ability to do that on a daily basis?
Yes.
Okay.
You can negotiate spare parts.
Maybe even modules, you keep the same price. I mean, you'll
Things
just
like
have
that.
to play with it.
If you want to have a conversation about negotiation strategy, that's where I come
I was
from,
gonna
with
ask
this sort of thing, and you can call me,
Yeah.
and I would be happy to talk to Emma again,
All right,
and you.
thank you, thank you. We'll do that.
This is important.
Ready, we're on to item C,
Yeah,
paving and storm drain.
sure. So, wastewater plant, we have in the budget, this current budget and we're towards the end of it. We waited till our last haul. We have in front of we had a newer shop built in the back 40 of the wastewater treatment plant. And currently there's a area where we have a lot of stockpile storage and stuff. It tends to flood back there. When we did the building, we originally needed to have a catch basin put in, the pipes in there. We need to have a catch basin set and grading done, and at least 35 feet in front of the new shop with just some overlay. Due to the fact that it floods in there, we gotta get the equipment. It'd be an area for the crew to wash down equipment, and anyway, it was kind of in the original design. And they've kind of patiently been dealing with the flooding and the gravel and the dust and all that for the last 3 or 4 years. So I've done some prices for the all this stuff, and it's come to so that I would get Dan Price Construction for he provides everything at $90 an hour. He does his time, the equipment, the grading equipment and tractor and everything. So he's at $90 an hour. He figures it would take 2.5 days to dig out the drainage ditch, regrade everything, kind of organize stuff around, install the catch basin, grout the pipes in, and then grade the gravel out so it's ready for paving. So again, price was, let's see, so he's $90 an hour at 2 days at $14.40. The catch basin's $280. Rock is roughly $700 for probably about 3 10-yard loads, so 30 yards of rock. We get that through Grant, Snyder, Hauling. I've done a lot of price from Devil's Lake Rock to Wiener's Stockpile to Cedar Creek, all of them. He's still the cheapest. He gets it from Drayton and he hauls it here, and it's the cheapest rock we get. It's $270 a load or something like that. Everybody else is way over 300, so I've been using Grant. It's great. It's a good, honest 10 yards, so the city's been benefiting on that rather than paying $340 a load for the last 10 years. So the paving, I got a price quote from, and this is ballpark. I'll probably have to put an RFP out for the paving. It's $6,200. So $6,200 for the paving overlay. It's going to be 100 feet long by 30 feet wide, probably at 2 inches, and 2.5 to 2.5 inches, and that comes to $8,440. And like I said, it was in the budget for a lot like twice that, so it's coming in pretty feasible. And like I said, it's going to help with cutting the dust down from the neighborhood back there. washing the rigs down, and just building the approach to the new shop, it'll really help. We're still chip seal around the outside, and I did look into chip seal, but that's mainly used for a, kind of for a road. It's a cheap way of asphalting, but we do a lot of it on our side roads. I'm trying to get away from chip seal because it's so costly. A year from when you do chip seal, you have to do potholes, and doing the potholes ends up costing more than the chip seal does, so. Anyway, I'll try to be quick on that, so. And what I need is if the council will approve $8,440 for paving, and storm control of the back of the wastewater treatment facility.
We'll make a motion that we fund the 8,000, how much?
$440.
440.
Made and seconded, motion made and seconded, any more discussion? Call the question, please.
Sparks,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Mackla,
Yes.
Gambino,
Yes.
Grant,
Aye.
Fisher Brown.
Yes.
Upgrade the wastewater plant even more, so thank you, and I know the crew will really appreciate it, it'll help in Holland. Okay, thank you.
Item D, liquor license renewal.
You all should have gotten a copy of something that looks like this. It's a renewal notification process. Now, just last meeting, we had Sarah. And her timing was good. She explained all about this process. So on the cover, it says, how to make recommendations. If you're thinking recommending approval to the attached list of those that currently have liquor licenses that will be renewing this year, or may not be, but this is the list that they're gonna be expiring in June. So, if the council would want to recommend approval, your first choice is to do nothing. If you do not submit a recommendation by June 4th, the OLCC will process the renewal application as a favorable recommendation. If you would want to consider recommending a denial on any of the renewals, then it identifies how to file an unfavorable recommendation and make a written request for additional time to complete the investigation. And I am happy to let the council know, again this year, that the city has not received any complaints on any of these businesses. A few years ago, we had one that we got routine noise complaints, but we have not had any issues or problems with any of these licensees.
So we just move that we approve and authorize these license renewals, is that all we need to do?
Or you can move to do nothing, which would result in.
Okay. What difference is it?
How do we handle the passing of Robert Lester?
Oh.
And also my restaurants out here, I don't have an application.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if there is someone on here, for example, that's not gonna renew, you're not gonna, that business person won't renew.
Right.
Yeah, they won't go back to LCC.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I would like to move that we, what do you guys want to do, nothing, or do you want to approve? Well, let's say we'll approve the list and renewal notification process.
If we do nothing, the same thing results, and I don't have to declare a conflict of interest.
Yeah, it's just not doing anything, it's fine. Not have drinking establishments, and where the churches match though.
So amended.
Do nothing.
So amended. Do we have a second?
Second.
That's not how the council rolls, you guys.
I know, never do nothing.
Do or do not, there is no try.
So,
Okay, that's.
okay, by doing nothing, are we withdrawing the motion?
No, we amended the motion to do nothing.
I didn't hear that, sorry. Okay. Call?
Wyatt,
Yes.
Olson,
Yeah.
Mackler,
Yes.
Gambino,
Yes.
Grant,
This is to do nothing, correct?
to do
Aye.
nothing. Fisher Brown,
Yes.
Sparks.
Yes.
All right, we will do nothing on your
Yay.
behalf.
Maybe nothing elected.
Correspondence.
Okay, you have one item of correspondence, it's probably one of the briefer pieces of correspondence.
Wow, all right.
I'm glad.
Pat Dunlop, she had come before you, some months ago, about having senior activities at our community hall, and she was gonna be working with the Pacific Sea Lions, and they have made arrangements. Their first planning meeting for activities for seniors will be June 18th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the community hall. And they just want to let you know that they're moving ahead with this.
The mayor and I will be there.
The senior citizen contention, is that what you're telling me?
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I don't, I'm still young.
You're reading me too soon. Yes, sir.
Just out of curiosity, did she say anything more about the sign that's gonna go up?
Did not, we didn't talk about that stuff. They really are, a very small group of people
Oh, yeah.
trying to do a lot.
Grassroots.
This is one more piece for them. So this first meeting on June 18th, it's for them to sit down and just really
Good.
plan. So,
I'm happy
yeah.
that we're doing that.
Any more correspondence?
No correspondence.
City
I've got a
staff?
couple of staff report things, but.
City staff report.
Two things. You may already know, but we're saddened to know that Bob Lessinger passed away. He was the operator of the Harbor Lights.
Okay.
He also was a city planning commissioner. So, to make it absolutely official, I asked, declare a vacancy and direct staff to act.
I move that we vacate Bob Lessinger's seat on the planning commission and that you open up applications for appointments.
Second.
Call, please.
Olson,
Yes.
Mackler,
Yes.
Gambino,
Yes.
Grant,
Aye.
Fisher Brown,
Yes.
Sparks,
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
We will do that. The other item I have, bear with me. Okay, so AJ has been out stumping for funding for the Fleet of Flowers, and he was quite successful.
I forgot about that part.
So, in the mail, came a check, for Fleet of Flowers. However, the check was made out to the city of Depoe Bay. So what I'm asking the council tonight, because, the way we have to handle the money is we could return it to him and say, send another check written to Fleet of Flowers. But considering the time frame, what we can do, we would receipt the money. And then we would issue a donation to the Fleet of Flowers in that $500 amount that he sent. But I need your authorization to make that donation because it's gonna show up on the books as an expenditure, so.
Make it so.
Okay.
Good idea.
Absolutely.
I second it.
Okay,
Yeah, good idea.
Good. Call.
okay. Mackler,
Yes.
Gambino,
Yes.
Grant,
Aye.
Fisher Brown,
Yes.
Sparks,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
All right, we will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I told my friend to make a copy for Fleet of Flowers, and if you're worried about a name on it, put my name on it in conjunction.
Put my name on it anyway.
Yeah, but, and he made it out of the city of Depot Bay. Anyways, money, well spent for the Fleet of Flowers.
That's right.
So I will quickly, because it's getting late, go through my list. Speaking of Fleet of Flowers, the crew, field crew's been busy, with a help list for the Fleet of Flowers. It's something we do annually, nothing more outside of what we normally do. It's help haul some of the bigger items on the dump truck, because they have a they have trouble getting down there. And, we have big wreath racks and stuff that store at wastewater, we'll bring those down, they're full of nails and things. And we've also been hanging plywood in the hall, so it saves the wall. So we hang this plywood up, so instead of them, they used to hammer nails in the old siding in there, and that nice tight knot, that they would actually just, you know, put them in the plywood now. So that's going really well, and just letting the council know that we're kind of being seen and about town for that. We're cleaning up, we're working on curbs, cleaning gutters downtown. The painting, you know, ODOT really doesn't do it, so we end up doing it, and putting the bill and everything for painting and all the labor and stuff. But it's working great. We found the crew on their own have figured out that this back trail that we got for excavating, they've been going down, loosening the weeds downtown and vacuuming these. It's like a giant shop vac. And it works fantastic. In fact, some of the guys from the county actually were filming them, so they were going to take that idea back to their. So yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. And so the other thing is we got a fire hydrant in on Vista Terrace. Jack O'Brien, I know, was going to mention something to the council, but I'm going to be into it. There was no fire hydrant available on Vista Terrace, which is located about halfway down Williams Avenue and up Carson as you go up. There's some homes up there, and there's no fire hydrants in the area. We installed one. We just got it done a while back, but it's online now. And they're very, very happy, and I've got a lot of thank yous from the homeowners up there. So, and to review to the council, because you guys approved it all, so. It's great too, to get the more hydrants in areas that don't have anything is really vital. And I know the fire department appreciates it too. So, and then we're doing the memorial benches. Eric's got the Barkhurst bench in. He and Jason have installed the hoisting bench framework, so that'll be in before the Fleet of Flowers. And that's going to be located down there by the ramp to the Coast Guard 44. So it's in a really cool spot they found in Parks. So that'll be in with the plaques and everything. And then the historical sign that was approved too, they're not finished with it yet. We thought it'd be a little earlier and up for the Fleet of Flowers, but it's just not finished yet. The other thing is the 10th employee. I brought it up last council meeting. Like to get, so we've got the 10th employee moved into the harbor. He's working the weekends, and then his days are off during the harbor. It keeps my harbor master Monday through Friday, and frees up the weekends so we can get most of the projects done. We're really behind the stuff in the harbor, and it seems to be working. I came up with a great schedule, and so far so good. We did talk about the 10th employee getting a raise, because he's been making kind of meager dollar by the hour, working through BDSI, which is 10th employee company, and Barrett and Associates. And we had talked about if we did give him more money, would it affect his insurance that he's getting through Barrett? And I talked to the employee, and he said that it would not. Okay. That he would appreciate more funding, but you know, I hate to lose the guy. He's a really good worker, and he's there when we need him.
You want to bump $2 an hour, is that what it is,
Yeah.
12?
Yeah, or to 11 to 13. You mentioned.
13.
He was getting. We started him at 11 and be to 13. So it'd be some cost to the city too. Yeah, and and he's paying his own insurance through Barrett and Associates.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I move that we authorize a pay raise to, his name is John? Jason, up to $13 an hour.
Second. Great, and then just gonna keep him here through as the budget worked out, through the harbor for now. And then I'm still getting a grass guy. I've got a community service worker coming in that we may not need to get a grass person right off the bat, but I have yet to see that person show up. So I was called by him, said he's got to work it off with the judge, told him I had paperwork and to show up, but I've yet to see the so.
Call the question, please.
Gambino,
Yes.
Grant,
Aye.
Fisher Brown,
Yes.
Sparks,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Manuel.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
You have anything else, Bree?
I don't think.
the last city council meeting, I had I wouldn't say a graphic example, but an example nonetheless of the old fact that no good deed goes unpunished. Something that I said that in reference to the medical marijuana issue was quoted by one of the online publications here in Lincoln County. And that quote was taken out of context by a resident of the county, but not the city, who then distorted and twisted it into something that put words in my mouth and implied something that I did not say in conjunction with that particular issue. And this person apparently didn't realize that she and I were on the same side of that issue. I know that other people on the council and previous councils have had that happen as well. And it could, in my mind, be construed as a lesson to watch what I say, but I'm getting too old for that. So I'm just going to be the person that I am. And if people want to distort, twist, or manipulate my words to create a meaning that is not intended, that's not on me, that's on them. So I'm just going to leave that as a lesson learned.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, very,
Good
very
for
good.
you.
Yeah,
for you.
finally, you
Now
got
that,
over the hump, all right.
now that the correction has been made, it's also a matter of public record, so you can take it from there.
I referenced that in my comments to the person
Okay,
attempting to
great.
correct her
Like I
misunderstanding.
said, join the club.
I'm in good company.
Yes.
Thank you. Steve?
In the context of my passion for education, I'm happy to acknowledge that we have 2 Oregon State University graduates, and they are our very own Amber Dawn Howe from Neighbors for Kids, who's earned a double degree, one a BS in education and a BS in liberal studies. Another lady, her name is Asta, A-A-S-T-H-A Shah, has earned her BS in microbiology. I think that's fantastic for our great town to have a couple of new OSU graduates, don't you?
Appreciate that, Liz.
Okay, I'm another graduate too. My granddaughter will be graduating with honors, so I'm very excited. Very proud.
Yay, Joey.
Yay, Zoe. Secondly, I won't take a lot of time. I talked to Zeke about this,
Oh,
and I'm still doing, yeah, at this point in the
yeah,
year.
don't worry about it now.
I,
Sun's coming up.
I was thinking to make our city look a little, cheerier, pretty, whatever. So I went and I spoke with, the lady at Fair Valley Nursery about hanging baskets, because she said, that does sound good, but it's not gonna work. She goes, they get beat to death with the wind. But she said we could put some beautiful planters with sea grasses and a lot of different colors. So I'll do some more checking on that and see a cost, and maybe some of the storefronts would want to maintain or water, or maybe your guys could, I don't know.
Yeah, no, they do maintain the planter boxes at Whale Fountain, those big planters, those are out of water, they end up maintaining those.
Okay.
So there's other areas to get the planter boxes down in the park, we end up maintaining. So that's nothing new.
Okay. And I know it's a little early, but Christmas is just around the corner, and I think we need to plan for, really making the city festive. If we want to get people down here, let's make it festive.
You're not suggesting we put out Christmas trees yet, are you?
No, maybe Christmas lights.
Yeah, okay.
And that's all I have, thanks.
As long as I don't have to listen to Christmas carols, I'm fine.
I just wanted to comment that the Fleet of Flowers occurs next Monday, and for all those that are interested, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 9 to 6. Go on down in Tyson Reeves, be a part of the process.
Where is this gonna be?
At the community center.
Okay.
There's actually lunch at least 3 of the days provided by, I think Jerome's probably providing a meal, isn't he? You provide a meal to Fleet Flowers this
To
year?
the people down there,
Yeah,
9
yeah,
to 6?
yeah, 9 to 6, so And then, what, we tie flowers, Sunday or?
Yes, yeah, they're gonna do the cedar, boughs first.
Yeah, we need help with those, for
Right.
sure.
And then, getting the signs covered with cedar,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of work.
Yeah, so
Everett.
just go on down,
Okay,
if you can just only put it in an hour, put it in an hour.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun.
Days for the Grab Judy and we'll go
And
down.
then, perhaps if you're really good about it, we get you a little ride.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor?
That was, go ahead, Robert, first.
No comments? Thank you.
And Jerome?
Yes, Mayor, this last week, because I was interested in the, how the city handles the urban renewal funds, and how other cities around the state handle urban renewal funds. And so I contacted a consultant that really, I think, one of the top consultants in the state, 2 cities, on how to handle and what projects may be